Я продолжаю свою серию выпусков из Дубая, и я ищу здесь вещи, которые могут нас удивить. И сейчас я приехал в Knowledge Park. Knowledge Park — это уникальное в своем роде место, то есть это такой район или мини-город, где находятся филиалы университетов со всего мира. В этом выпуске я вам немного расскажу об этом месте, и мы с вами посетим одно учебное заведение SAE. Это институт, специализирующийся на креативных медиа. А пока я не перешел к основной теме ролика, давайте покажу вам место, где я сейчас нахожусь, чтобы вы видели всю эту красоту, которая меня окружает.
A Bachelor of Audio, Animation, Graphic Design and Visual Communication, Film, Games Development, and we have launched a new diploma in Augmented and Virtual Reality, where students who are graduating in these different sectors and fields, they do have lots of opportunities in terms of career. Can be being employed in creative media agencies, in production houses, in studios, but also to enter the field of entrepreneurship. The field of creative media never stopped. On the contrary, it was giving more and more production, more and more work for audiences and for people to see. So students, they can start their journey and their academic journey in Dubai campus. And at the diploma level, which means that after the duration of 1 year, they can transfer to other SAE campuses. But the most popular one is the transfer that happens between Dubai and Australia and Internet City, and we're also close to Studio City. So these places are hubs for production houses, agencies, studios, recording. So again, being in the middle of these different creative agencies, it makes it very easy for the students to network with employers or like to find internship with these companies. So SAE sorts out internship opportunities for every student because this is part of the curriculum that we teach. And all faculty are industry professionals, okay? Because you cannot separate the teaching process and the knowledge that they have from the industry where they are working. Otherwise, the information and the skills that they are giving to the students will be outdated.
Я сейчас иду по району и хочу вам немножко показать, что он из себя представляет. Во-первых, кстати, я сейчас нахожусь рядом с офисом визы. Здесь вы видите такие тротуарчики с велосипедными дорожками. Вокруг все очень зеленое. Город за последнее время, за последние несколько лет очень сильно изменился в лучшую сторону. И мне это, кстати, нравится в Дубае, то, что он не перестает меняться именно в лучшую сторону. И они конкретно занялись здесь озеленением. Я был последний раз здесь в 2019 году, и за 3 года очень сильно изменился Дубай, очень.
Как бы мне хотелось понимать, что значат все эти кнопочки. Ребята, здесь в Эмиратах проводится огромное количество мероприятий. То есть это и ивенты, это и концерты, участие на различных площадках. И понятно, что задействуется огромное топовое, крутое оборудование. Так вот, у студентов SAE есть возможность поучаствовать во всех этих мероприятиях. И специалисты SAE, я сейчас говорю о преподавателях, они все приходят из индустрии, то есть у них есть уже связи. Сам Knowledge Village — это вся вот эта территория, где присутствуют университеты из разных стран. Это уже очень большое сообщество, плюс здесь находится и Media Village, то есть где базируются компании. Я, к примеру, проходил студии BBC. Как мне сказали, что у вуза очень тесные связи с компаниями. Здесь, кстати, на 3-м году обучения можно пройти internship, то есть рабочую практику в компании и, естественно, получить и необходимые контакты, зарекомендовать себя и позже устроиться на работу.
The UAE is probably the country with the most diverse population that I have ever come across. People from all over the world come to the UAE, and specifically to Dubai. Dubai is known as one of the most cutting-edge, forward-thinking, modern cities in the world. It is not only a business hub in the world, a travel hub in the world, but it also has become a hub for education. The UAE, Dubai, and the other Emirates as hubs for education that attract talent from all over the world. This is an amazing city. It is safe, it is beautiful, it gives you an international experience mixing with people from all over the world. It is centrally situated. You can travel from here easily to reach anywhere from whether it is you want to go to Europe, whether you want to go to Africa, whether you're wanting to go to Eastern Europe. And because it is so well known as a business hub, the experience that you build up being in this environment is unrivaled in the world. It's just amazing. My belief is that if you have worked and lived and studied in Dubai, you really have the foundations to work and live and study and move anywhere else in the world. So SAE originally started as the School of Audio Engineering. That's where the SAE comes from. School of Audio Engineering was launched in 1976 in Australia. Grew to become the world's largest private tertiary education institution that specializes specifically in creative media education. So when it comes to creative media, we talk about the disciplines of animation, game design, film production, graphic design, audio engineering, virtual reality, augmented reality, those kind of creative media disciplines. SAE has grown to become the world's largest private university that focuses on creative media education exclusively. Currently about 47 campuses across 23 countries in the world. Probably in Australia where they originally started, so the biggest campus would be in Australia. So if you look at any university that you would find within the UAE, SAE has the largest number of students that are registered with us by choice to study creative media. It's actually really exciting what's happening in the creative media industry in the Middle East right now. And I'm not just talking about in the UAE. Traditionally, there has always been a big focus on a product-based economy here. And the main product being oil and services products like, for example, tourism, We all know Dubai is the tourism capital of the world. It's a fantastic place to come and visit. The local authorities, the local government, the visionary leaders of the UAE have also put out the challenge to change the economy from a services and product-driven economy to what is referred to as a creative or knowledge-driven economy, which means the focus on creative skills. Creating an economy where people are skilled to use their creative abilities to generate an income and become economically viable in all of the creative media disciplines for young people who are passionate about their creative abilities, to be able to develop that not only into something that you do just because, as a hobby, but to build a career out of it. Imagine if you are working in something that you feel so passionate about that you want to do it every single day. You want to be a photographer, you want to be a filmmaker, somebody like yourself. You work in this industry. It's not work, it's like you living your passion. And that opportunity exists for young people today. And that it really excites us because that's what we are passionate about. Creating the opportunity for young people to use their passion and their skills and build a really, really well-paid and lucrative career out of it. So we get the question often, what percentage of your students does an internship while they're studying at SAE? The answer is very simple. All of them. Every single student, 100% of the students that study at SAE must complete an internship before they can graduate. So it's part of your requirement to complete your studies. We are situated here in Dubai Knowledge Park, which is surrounded by Dubai Media City for a good reason. Dubai Media City is where our students find their internships, where we have industry relations, where our students get the opportunities for placements. So we are very well situated for students to be able to get that foot into the industry. Talk about events, for example. Now, just to bring it back to one of the things that is happening in the industry that is really exciting to us, and that is the development of the gaming industry, for example. Now, if you think of esports, esports has developed to the point where you can have thousands of people in a stadium watching two competitors play an esports event, competing on FIFA. And you have thousands of people attending that event in a stadium. But not just in the stadium, it gets streamed all over the world where literally hundreds of millions of people are watching this. It's at the same level as you would have an actual sport event where you need project managers, you need sound engineers, you need film producers, you need internet specialists, you need people that can build sets, you need people that are photographers, you need graphic designers, you need animators to put this event together. So just one of the newly developing industries in the creative media space is creating all of this opportunity. It's about finding what your passion is and turning your passion into the purpose of your life. That is what we believe in. That passion, that creative passion that you really feel is something that motivates and inspires you, and building that into a career. How wonderful to be able to do that.
И рядом с Knowledge парком и SAE находится станция метро. До станции метро идти 10 минут. Вот как раз указатели, везде, кстати, стоят указатели. Можно посмотреть, куда, в какую сторону вам надо. Дубай Марина вправо, Медиа Сити тоже вправо. Минут 20 ходьбы. Здесь же находится, вот я сейчас, в принципе, нахожусь в интернет-сити. То есть везде такие хабы, да, медиа-хаб, интернет-хаб. Интернет-хаб — это IT-гиганты, да, все, кто в информационных технологиях. Медиа — это, естественно, медийные компании.
really the rock stars of SAE. All of our lecturers are people that are seasoned professionals from industry. So they are all people that have worked in industry for many years. They know the industry, and we encourage them to continue working in industry while they are working as academics. So they know exactly what is the most recent developments that are happening in industry, so that they can bring that experience back to the students into the classroom. Like I mentioned earlier, we have about 47 campuses across 23 countries. We operate as a branch of SAE Australia. So we are typically exactly the same as an SAE campus in Australia. We are just situated in Dubai. If a student comes and studies here, they can transfer from SAE Dubai to one of those campuses that are situated either in Australia or one of the other countries. So it's an easy transfer. So many students will use this as an opportunity for an international pathway to start their first year here, and then once they've completed their first year, they find the appropriate campus where they can get the most credits, and then they can transfer over there and they can continue their studies. So obviously you need to have the entry requirements for studies at a university. But you need to have completed grade 12, which means schooling must be done. Minimum of 17 years old, and then also you need to have proficiency in English. If we normally have an English exam that we have a partnership with one of the language schools here in Dubai. If you have been studying at a school that uses English as the language of instruction, then you just need to give us a letter and proof from the school that will say that you have studied in an English school, and then that's fine. I always say, you don't become a photographer because you have bought a camera. It's like saying you become a chef because you own an oven. So when it comes to showing your passion for your talent, of course, we would love you to have a portfolio that you can put forward as evidence. And we find that most students have this. If they are passionate about game development or game design, they would have experimented with doing some games development and game design. Maybe they've written some games at some point. They've done some animations, graphic designs. You have to have that passion, that burning desire to develop something that's already there. And the way that you see that talent is by what you have done in the past. You know, if you're a photographer, you never go anywhere without your camera, even if that camera is your mobile phone. But you will always see pictures, stories that you want to capture, a moment that you want to capture. That's the passion of a creative. They look out for these opportunities. So apart from having completed your grade 12 at school, being 17 years of age, being proficient in English, of course, the more evidence you can give us for the passion, creative passion that you have, the better. There are so many. Our students do amazing work. You know, in the UAE, at the moment, because they are trying to attract creative talent into the UAE, they are offering golden visas. So a golden visa means that you can work and live in the UAE for a period of up to 10 years. Okay. All right, so it's a very sought after visa that very few people get, except if you are a creative student and you can show that passion. We have students that have graduated from SAE that have already got their golden visas, which means they can work, they can live here, they can sponsor their families to come here, and there's many examples of that. I studied in South Africa in a town or a city called Port Elizabeth in the eastern part of South Africa. I originally studied to become a teacher. And I loved my time as an educator. I still love teaching. I think development of people and guiding people to realizing their full potential is really, you know, a passion of mine. I was very young when I became a school principal. Through that, I also then started my own consultancy to develop people that were wanting to grow in their respective industries. That helped me to transition into running a project for a private university group, and eventually I ended up there as principal of one of their campuses in Cape Town, South Africa, where I was working at the time. I then eventually ended up as the national general manager for this group of private universities that specialized specifically in creative media and creative education. And then the opportunity came up to move to Dubai, and it's such a fantastic opportunity to be in this city. So I grabbed it with both hands, and here I am. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. My wife, I have 2 daughters. They are so happy here. We have settled in amazingly well. There is so much to do and to see and to experience in Dubai. People might think that Dubai and the UAE is just a desert country. It's not. It is some of the most amazing experiences that you can have anywhere in the world, and also a place to study, a place to live, a place as a base to move into the rest of the world. You have a very cosmopolitan group of people that are living in and working in the city, which opens up the world to people. Once you have been in Dubai, I believe you can go anywhere, because you have been exposed to so many different cultures.
Еще одна студия в SAE. Ребята, это диджейская студия. Сейчас понравится всем любителям музыки и сведения разных треков. Здесь в SAE можно взять курс, научиться диджеингу. И, кстати, здесь еще делают и летние программы, и каникулярные программы, где можно приехать и почувствовать всю эту атмосферу креативного медиа. Еще что мне нравится здесь, то что учеба это не только про учебу, да? Учеба это еще и про ваши интересы, про ваши хобби. И вот как раз здесь такой стенд, где мы можем видеть, чем студенты могут заниматься в свое свободное время. И, например, здесь есть и клуб по изобразительным искусствам, здесь есть клуб танцев, клуб любителей фотографии, клуб прессы. И если у вас какие-то есть интересы, вы, конечно, можете объединиться с другими студентами для того, чтобы развиваться вместе, заниматься любимым делом в свое удовольствие. Это очень круто.